What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Griever back here, you guys' host as always, bringing you guys another episode of Dr. Stone. Now, I must apologize in advance, guys. My video content will be, for as far as new content goes, of course, there will still be the re-uploads of my Let's Plays and stuff like that. But relatively speaking, no new content other than crucial manga chapters will be reviewed this week and the start of next week because my wife is here, so I finally get to spend some time with her. So this, content-wise, will be a little lacking and stuff like that. But it's only for a week and a half, so after that we'll be back to our regular scheduled content. Now, that being said, let's just move on because Dr. Stone, episode 5. Now, once again, I have been attempting to reread the chapters after watching the episode, or sometimes before watching the episode. I garner, 4 or 5 chapters, and then I watch the episode. Now, in this case, I did it the latter. I decided to read, most of the chapters, and then, or reread, I should say. Then I watched the episode. And once again, I got this feeling of where the anime, this is where an anime does things right. They build it out just that little bit. They just extend each scene. They don't actually add anything. There's no real filler. They just, with the music and the tone and the slight movement, this is where animation brings the manga to life. And this is what most animes nowadays seem to be lacking when they're doing an interpretation from a great manga, is that they don't seem to be able to get that niche, get that knack, because I felt remember, this is only like 10, 12 chapters into Dr. Stone. We do not have enough time to feel really for these characters yet. Like, not to an amazing extent anyways. Not someone like who follows One Piece or My Hero Academia or One Punch Man or something that is a little longer running as of now. It's been running for quite a long time. We don't have enough time yet as far as the anime is concerned, or even the manga at that time. But the anime does such an amazing job here. As I already spoke about in the last the last episode review, is that Tsukasa, you feel for him and you feel for Senku, and this bond they have, this pseudo friendship, I'll call it, this amount of honesty and respect for one another. You really feel it with the voice acting and the music. That's what drives it home. That's what the manga just cannot replicate. It's something that the manga cannot do, that the anime can do, and they've done it right. That's the big key things. The difference between an anime and a manga is the two things they can always do is add sound. And if the sound is done well, done 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, then it actually adds to the scene. No matter how good the manga may be, no matter how good the original concept, this is so good. It actually made it better because, once again, a quick chapter review of, I forget what chapter number it was, but Tsukasa talking about, being his friend and stuff at the end of the last episode, and then at the beginning of this one, they showcase it. They show all the scenes we saw of young Senku and young Taiju and all that stuff, and them going through all their stuff, except they insert Tsukasa. They insert him in this scene. They do the same thing in the manga. But here, we actually get, it's just more powerful. We see a young Tsukasa just going through and growing up with them and being their friend, being a part of their group of friends. With Yuzuha, whatever, I really am bad at pronouncing her name, Taiju and Senku. We get this, and it's awesome, guys. It's incredible, because I just felt so much. And I knew this was coming, and I reread the chapter even, but the chapter didn't make me feel the same way that the anime episode did. This episode, it really makes you feel like I would watch that manga. Or watch that anime. I would read that manga where, like an alternate reality, where they just went through their thing before petrification, and Tsukasa did meet Senku and Taiju and stuff, and became their friend and all that stuff, and they went on their own adventures in high school. This made me feel like I want to see more of that, and it actually makes you feel a little bit, because you feel sad. You actually feel a little upset that it didn't come to that. And we've only known them for 5 episodes, but you feel so bad that Tsukasa and Senku, because they are in this stone world, this isn't going to happen. That wonderful high school life they could have had together is never going to be a reality. And this episode showcases that with its score and its voice acting so well that, yeah, it did it better, guys. I gotta say it. Usually I am so adamant about books doing it better and manga doing it better, original sources always doing it better. In this case, no. This episode did that whole section better. Now then, of course, we get the fact that Senku does, he cracks his neck sort of idea, let's get this over with. Tsukasa kills him, as far as we know, and Taiju and everyone are like, what's going on? It's a very emotional scene and stuff. It basically goes scene by scene for the manga as well. There's kind of 2 parts to this episode. Suffice to say, after that initial part, we get Tsukasa's like ready to go, right? He's like, okay, what's Taiju gonna do? Because and once again, Tsukasa is not, he's a good guy, as Senku put it, best way. He's a good guy, but he's also a murderer. It's one of those double-edged swords, right? And he does this thing where he's kind of like, he didn't want to kill Senku. He pleaded not to be able to kill him, but he won't sacrifice his own ideals. And the same thing with Taiju. He's like, Taiju, don't come after me, because if you attack me in a rage because I killed Senku, I'm going to have to kill you too. He does not want to kill Taiju. He didn't want to kill Senku. He doesn't want to kill these people. So that's, once again, this builds up part of Tsukasa's character. Now, we know exactly what happens, of course. Taiju, he keeps his mind, he keeps his calm. He talks to Yuzuya, and they decide, okay, we're gonna escape pretty much. So they throw the gunpowder, they do the thing. Taiju throws up a rock, as we saw in the last episode. Remember when he dropped the rock and stuff and created an explosion? It was like, boom. He replicates this by using the power of science. And, of course, Tsukasa was totally focused on the rock and Taiju, not even thinking that in a world of science where everyone is equal, as they say, like in a stone world, he's right. Women are not as much of a threat, should I say, without going too stuff. This is what the manga and the anime say, ladies and gentlemen, not what I'm saying. But he does have a bit of a point that Tsukasa would not fear. He'd be more distracted by Taiju than he would by Yuzuya. Now, that is, of course, his fatal flaw, because she throws the sulfur, the black powder, the gunpowder, and then, of course, the rock drops, creates the spark, and boom. Now, as Tsukasa realizes after the smoke clears and stuff, and he gets a little burned up, but nothing major, just rips off his clothing, his lion skin, and he says, basically, yeah, I should have figured. See, Taiju, even in this point, does not want to kill anybody. He doesn't want to hit anybody. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. So this was all a distraction so he could run away with Senku. Though, at the time, really, Tsukasa, I don't know if he would have stopped him, because he was the one who said, like, you should give a proper burial to your friend. You should say farewell properly. So I don't know why, like, would he have stopped him if they say, well, we're not being a part of this. We're going to leave with his body. You have no right or something, and they could have just walked away. As far as I know, so it's a dramatic moment. But in retrospect, I think Tsukasa would have just let them leave. Maybe he would have followed them and tracked them. I don't know. But if he was really interested, you can't tell me Tsukasa couldn't have busted through that smoke at the moment he recovered and chased right after them. So yeah. Either way, so still a dramatic moment, still pretty cool. And the rain moment where they're trying to figure out, okay, like Senku, is he dead and stuff, and they're trying to figure out how to revive him, heart, pumping and stuff, first aid sort of idea. And then they realize, about his cracking neck thing, and then we see, it's kind of emotional. The rain adds to it. I really like the rain. And once again, Taiju's voice actor does an incredible job. Once again, I don't speak Japanese, so a lot of the time, a lot of the emotion is lost on me as I don't understand the language, but I find that this scene, and once again the score, does this so well that you actually feel for it. It's like, yeah, and I almost pictured it being said in English, and I can't wait. They can't screw this up. When they dub this, they cannot screw up the voice acting, because that's what makes this anime so good, is the voice acting, and the score has been 10 out of 10, and it's what made this anime just as good as the manga. So they can't screw this up, because these scenes like this need to be done perfectly. They need a veteran voice actor for these characters. So they figure it all out. The reason he was cracking his neck, he never used to have a habit like that. They look back, they remember the toes of Izia and stuff like that. And it's like, just because you got the nitric acid on you and stuff doesn't mean it's all gone. And he talks about the scars, the residue of that. And then he flips over Senku, and he realizes there's a part on the back of his neck sort of idea, still petrified. So even though Tsukasa broke his neck, the idea is that if he heals that part of the neck will heal itself sort of idea. I mean, it's a little far-fetched when you consider it, because the neck is made up of, that's a pretty specific area, and it's only a little piece. And if you break someone's neck, I mean, he's not in a stone statue anymore. They're not putting the pieces back together and hoping it's going to happen. He's, as far as we know right now, he's dead. He's dead as a doornail. Blood has stopped flowing to the brain and the heart and that idea, I guess. But I don't know that much about medical, so you got to leave a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of poetic license with this. It was still kind of a cool concept. And so they find the nitric acid that they have in the bag. They pour it on it. Of course, Taiju has his little speech, which once again I said really needs to have this great moment. It really needs to have great voice acting in the dub when they do the dub, because this was another 10 out of 10 moment. This, and of course the one previously was Tsukasa and everyone being a part of their high school gang sort of idea, right? That being said, after this we jump into, really, that was in the manga, this was basically the prologue. The first 12 chapters was basically the prologue to start up. Here's the world building, here's the situation, here's who awake, and here's what's going to happen. After this, we jump into the real start of Dr. Stone, and we jump all the way back to when Senku first woke up. And this covers a big kind of a long chapter, or chapters. Pretty much all we see is that we were following Taiju, and when Taiju wakes up, Senku's already been awake for 9 months to a year. In this case scenario, they draw this out a little bit. There is some filler lines and stuff that, I mean, it still fits Senku's character and it's fine and stuff, but then he wakes up and stuff, and we basically go through the process of him being recognized by the monkeys as a shiny, smooth monkey, and they're terrified of him and stuff, right? He basically goes through the acts of creating stone tools, catching food, finding food, building clothing, all this stuff, making fire, and the whole time we hear the thoughts of the monkeys trying to figure out, they think he's dumb, they think he's stupid, what is he doing? He acquires rope and stone and all these other things. Now, in the manga, he does not build up the weapon stores and the shelter and the food stores and all that stuff. He just acquires clothing by this point. But basically, they're kind of summarizing where it's going to go just a little quicker in the anime sort of idea, right? So the same little hut in the trees and stuff like that we saw when Taiju first woke up and met up with Senku, their little area, Senku has already built all this and stuff. And now we see the process of where he came to be. But we also see Senku going okay, I'm not like Taiju, I'm not he doesn't say Tsukasa, but he's I'm not like Taiju, not like Yuzuya. I can't make fire the traditional way because I don't have the strength to do it or the dexterity to do it. Same with hunting. I'm not fast enough or strong. I can't catch a deer with my bare hands, so I got to use my mind. I got to use the power of science. I got to use my ingenuity. That's the one thing Senku has over everyone else. Know everything. Learn everything. Trial and error. That will solve all his problems. And through trial and error, it does. He catches the deer. He uses all the pieces of the deer. All this stuff. So it's really interesting, and then the very end of the episode, he basically tells the monkeys, I'm the only one on this earth that's like this. I am a human. So that's where the episode ends. It's pretty good. It actually covers quite a few chapters, unlike most episodes, which only cover 1, 2, maybe 3. This one covers quite a few. I think 5. I honestly think 5. It covers quite a few chapters. But once again, that's not a big deal or anything, but now we are actually into the start of Dr. Stone. We're into the first arc. The first 12 chapters are considered the prologue. So it introduces us to the Stone World, introduces us to the situation, the main characters, and that kind of idea. So I like this episode. I thought the two key moments once again was the Tsukasa Senku talk and the alternate reality where he's their friend, and of course Taiju's in the rain yelling at Senku that he's got to be the one to lead humanity. He's going to start civilization. He can't die. He's got to wake the hell up, you know. That was powerful and emotional, and I really enjoyed that. The later half of the episode following Senku and stuff, it's interesting. It's good world building, and it's like, okay, let's see how Senku managed to get to that point. But I'm surprised that in the anime, where they've like switched around chapters and switched around scenes to suit it, I feel like this kind of killed off some of the hype of the episode a little bit. Like this would have been better placed. Like, once again, interesting backstory and stuff, of course, is always interesting, good world building, but was this really necessary after the emotional stuff we just witnessed and had? Now we're like, okay, well, what happens next? We spend the last half of the episode basically going backwards. Might not have been, I mean, maybe they tried it the other way, you know, maybe they tried to, okay, we'll put that somewhere else in the next episode or something like that. We'll just dedicate a whole episode to that, you know, and stretch it out. But I guess they went this route with it. It's fine. Once again, I liked it, but coming off that high of the two key moments and then the later half of the episode, just kind of, okay, the feelings can be pushed back down. We're just going to see a flashback. You know, that's the way it felt anyways. But that's pretty much the end of the episode and the end of the review, guys. What did you guys think of episode 5 of Dr. Stone? I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And as I said, I already said my hype moments and stuff. And the score, like, once again, the opening ending songs are not that great. I don't really care for them, nor the scenes they use. But the score in this anime is top tier. I won't say it's the best score because I don't really keep up with a lot of anime. I keep up with a lot of manga. Used to be an anime only guy. Then I was a manga anime guy. Now I'm pretty much a manga only guy with a few exceptions, this being one of them. So I can't say this is the best score of the year or anything like that. But I haven't heard better in a very long time from newer things. So but that being said, guys, tell me your opinions down in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy the episode? And if you're not into Dr. Stone yet, I gotta ask you, why not? Tell me why not in the comment section down below. I don't know why you'd be watching a review halfway through, you know, an anime, but nonetheless, if you are feeling that way, or you didn't think this episode was good, or you have a different opinion, just let me know down in the comment section down below. We can start a discussion over it. That being said, like, comment, and subscribe. As always, this has been Griever with your anime episode review of Dr. Stone, episode 5. We'll see you back here next time, guys. Peace out.